a rich man who our neighbor and who were our nephews. After my dad died, he decided to want to claim my father's land. And I think there was a corrupt magistrate whom they bribed, and he was giving away our land, and we're going to be homeless.
Yes.
That motivated me that if I grow up, I'm going to become a lawyer so that I fight people like that. Or when I'm now in a secondary school, I'm exposed to newspapers, the People newspaper and Argus. I also now have said, if I become a lawyer, I must become a journalist. So that I expose people who do bad things to others. So basically, I think my background as a child shaped what I wanted to be.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're listening to us from. Welcome to yet another episode of Footprints, a podcast where we tell the stories and glean the wisdom of our elders. I have a very special guest today, and he is going to introduce himself. Please tell our listeners who you are, and also take us way back when. What was the little you like?
Yeah, my name is Wafula Oguttu. I grew up in the village I was known as Phillip.
Which village?
In Lumino, a village called Mbaja. Mbaja is a village now in the Lumino Town Council. It's where I wasn't born there, but I grew up there since when I was 3. And there I was known as Phillip. And up to the time I went to secondary school, I was known as Phillip a lot of time. Then in the senior 4, I decided I was going to change my name. And I became Wafula. I took my father's name. If you went in my primary school, you'll find that record of Phillip Oguttu.
I can't imagine you as a Phillip. It is so strange. It is so strange, yes.
Yeah, and
but what caused you to change the name?
I was a long time I've been a Catholic. My mother was a very staunch Catholic. What caused me change, in our lives, we, as young people, you come to meet different people and read different books and meet different situations, and they influence you. So when I was in a secondary school, I think I was quite influenced by people like Nabudere, Professor Nabudere, and Omonyo Joke, these people who used to talk to us, come to talk to us when we were children, Chango Macho, and they were preaching, I think, socialist ideas. They were very captivating for me. Maybe because of my background, I grew up as a disadvantaged kid. Just my dad died when I was in P2. I think I was 7, 8. And so I'm brought up by my mom, and we are brought up in poverty, really. So anybody who talked about fairness of society, what they said resonated very well with my heart. So I became the ideas of socialists were very attractive there when I was in secondary school. Those were the times of getting books from the Chinese about the Cultural Revolution, and getting books from Russia, from Vietnam, from Korea. So that had influence on me for a long time. And maybe then also began questioning the issue of Christianity. And the way we saw it was not, I thought that we, as African people or Ugandan people, we were a lot in religion, and they thought religion had answers for everything. Even when you are poor, even when you are sick, they made you believe that actually if you prayed, you would get answers. And so, because of the teachings of those gentlemen I mentioned, there was no lady among them.
Yes.
Had that influence, began questioning things. Yeah, and that's how.
So, what did you desire to be as a young person, and did you pursue what you desired to become?
Actually, I wanted to be a lawyer or a journalist. I failed to be a lawyer. I became a journalist. And also it was, I was motivated by, again, this unfairness of society. When I was going to senior 1, a rich man who our neighbor and who were our nephews. After my dad died, he decided to want to claim my father's land. And he was, I think there was a corrupt magistrate, Magistrate 3, whom they bribed, and he was giving away our land, and we're going to be homeless.
Yes.
But we fought, and with the help of some uncles, and we got our land back. Now, I thought that motivated me that if I grow up, I'm going to become a lawyer, so that I fight people like that.
Yes.
Or when I'm now in a secondary school, I'm exposed to newspapers, the People newspaper and Argus, which you have never heard about, maybe.
I have. Heard about, not read,
Uganda
maybe,
Argus
but
and
heard
the
about.
People.
Yes.
People newspaper was for the UPC party, but it was readable. And the Uganda Argus, it was owned by the British, I think. And so when we were introduced to that, I also now said, if I become a lawyer, I must become a journalist. So that I expose people who do bad things to others. So basically, I think my background as a child shaped what I wanted to be. Although at school, I was sort of more of a scientist.
Interesting.
I was a very good mathematician, very good actually. I remember when they introduced what they called new maths. When I was going to senior 1, and they introduced it also to senior 2s. They introduced the subject to all of us at the same time. We did the same exam.
Oh, wow.
And that was the best. I was now known as a giant mathematics, but I didn't like. I wanted to be a lawyer because they told me that you don't need mathematics to be a lawyer.
Law, yes.
So I went to subjects which would take me there, history and literature. But otherwise, I would have been maybe a scientist if it was using just academic results. Yeah.
Wow. So did you go to university?
Yes.
Where did you go to after your SC? Where did you go for a secondary school?
I went to Bukedi College Kachonga.
Is it still there?
It is still there. Then I went to College at Lloyd. It is still there. Yeah, but so when I finished my high school, my mother said I'm not going to study again. She said I should get a job and help my siblings. So
where were you in the lineup of children?
I was number 2.
Wow.
But the first son, I'm number 2, but also the son. The others are girls. Then very, very at the end is another boy. So now my mother was wanting to give me responsibility because I was now educated. I had done high school. During that time, high school was a big deal, or even senior 4 was a big deal. So I said, okay, Mom. Then I applied for a job, Bank of Uganda. This little peasant boy from Lumino is applying for a job in Bank of Uganda. And I did, and I got a reply.
What did you apply for?
I applied for a job to be a banking assistant. They had advertised. They had advertised for banking assistants. Banking assistants were basically people who had done senior 6. Yeah, and have some economics background. So I apply, and I go one day to the mission, and the priest, the person after the mass, they read letters, and I've got my letter. It was PO Box 39.
Oh, my goodness.
Lumino Mill Hill.
Yes.
That's also the school where I went for my junior, Lumino Mill Hill. Now it's called Siviri Primary School, but at the time it was Catholic school. And they read my letter, and I go and pick it, and I open, and they are calling for interview in the Bank of Uganda. And I said, First, I had never been to Kampala. I don't,
oh my goodness.
I don't know anybody in Kampala. I know, we had been to Kampala briefly. We came for debate in Kisubi and in Nabisunza when I was in test college. But we just passed through.
Yes.
And so I come for interview in Bank of Uganda. And after 2 weeks, I got a letter. I had passed the interview.
So you went back to the village?
Yes, I
to wait?
didn't know where to stay. I mean,
Yes.
I went, there was somebody working at the petrol station who was from our village. I went and slept at his place and went back to the village.
Wow.
And they called me, and they have been given this banking assistant job. And I'm taken in the Department of Research. I was a researching assistant, and our director was Mr. Wanjala, and my engineer supervisor was Augustine Katongole. He passed. He used to read news on the TV, Augustine Katongole. So I'm destined to work. I'm working in Bank of Uganda as a banking assistant. I'm a big guy.
Yes.
And
So what do you bring from the village, and where do you look for a house when you come?
so when I come, now when you get a job, you find people who would want to, and because I was one of the few Samias in Bank of Uganda. So I find they tell me there was a son of a kojo of my dad who was also in town, and he said, okay, you can come and stay with me. So I stay with him in Kibuli and worked Bank of Uganda. Yes.
Morning and evening.
Yeah, but at that time, Jackie, it was easy. But we would just walk across the railway and go there. Then when I'm working, I worked for about 3-4 months, about 6 months maybe. We go to a neighbor's home and we are having tea in the home, and he had put newspapers on the table as a table mat. And there I see an advert, accidentally I just saw an advert, and I said, an advert for scholarships to go to China. And I look at the advert and I pick it. Actually, after the tea, I picked the advert.
Yes.
And when I applied, they were looking for 3 Ugandans to go to China to study Chinese studies, language and philosophy and the politics of China, to understand. That's Idi Amin's time. When I went to find out that the government wanted 3 Ugandans to go and train that way, so that one would go to work at the UN to help the Uganda government to understand what the Chinese are talking.
Yes.
Idi Amin wanted that.
Wow.
And he wanted a Ugandan to work at Foreign Affairs here, who understand Chinese, so that when he's talking to Chinese, that person can help Amin to understand what the Chinese are talking to each other.
Yes.
And one person to work at Foreign Affairs. I mean that work at our embassy in Peking. So we went. So I applied, and
you were chosen.
And I was chosen.
Wow.
We were several of us. We did the interviews at the Ministry of Education, and yes, we were chosen. But also remember what I told you about my O-level background, the philosophical thing, the socialism. I'm so excited. I'm so super excited that I'm going to China, where the Mao Zedong is.
Yes, wow.
Yeah, so I passed that interview, the 3 of us. There was a boy from Kabale called Makara. He's passed. He was killed. Actually, when we finished the college, 2 of us went to Tanzania to fight against Idi Amin. One came back. The one who came back worked here and eventually was killed. It was a boy called Makara Emanzi. And me and Isabire, who later became a lawyer like you, and also he passed. And I'm here. And that is how I ended up now studying communication and literature, because I was pursuing journalism. And
you learn Chinese?
Yes.
Do you still
By
know
the way,
to speak it?
there's a time I spoke as much Chinese as I spoke English and Samia.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh
because
my
went
goodness.
there when we were young, about 2019, and we are taken to a college where you learn. It's called Peking Language Institute, and we're there for 1 year. Because you are in a situation whereby nobody knows another language,
You are forced to learn.
you are forced to learn. You go to the shop,
Yes. Oh my God. No one knows.
nobody knows
anything
your
else.
language. You go to the dining, nobody knows your language. Everywhere you go on the street, nobody knows your language you speak. So you are forced to learn Chinese. And by the end of 1 year, we're perfect. We went to Peking University, the 3 of us, and we learned in Chinese.
Yes.
We even wrote our dissertations in Chinese.
Oh my
You know, I can't imagine when I look at it.
You still have it?
I don't know. I think it was. I left in the slum. I didn't get it. But the dissertation was how there was a famous author there called Lusun, and so mine was to see how Lusun reflects the lives of the peasant.
I cannot even. But first of all, so you get onto a plane, you've never been.
No.
What were you
so
like?
Now I've been chosen now to go, but I have to tell my mom that
that you're
going away, that I'm not going to help the family.
Oh wow! There was no stipend that you were earning with this, or
no, except that when we were there after 2 years, Idi Amin had his craziness of economic war. He invited us to come back, and he went around the country to see the economic war benefits. And when we met him in Akasero, he was asking us about life in China, and we told him it is difficult. The Chinese give us about, I think they were giving us 100 yuan at the time. And we said the other students get money, as we don't get. So no, you must also get. So Amin began sending us $100 per month from a stipend and so we had some money, and that money I would also send to my mom.
Yes.
Yeah, but when I told my mom that I was going away, she was disappointed but also happy. Now, what made her happy that I was going to sit on a plane and go abroad.
Yes.
That was exciting to her.
Yes.
But there's a little story I always tell people how so ignorant I was. First, it happened when we went to the Chinese embassy for a farewell dinner. The Chinese embassy organized for us a dinner. And the Chinese have got, when you are going to have a banquet, they introduced you to what you are going to eat with the cold dishes. Now, us, we didn't know about that.
Yes.
So we began stuffing our stomachs with the cold dishes. And we said, but why do people eat cold food? Then the man stayed with us, a Chinese, said, but the main food hasn't come. He said, what do you mean the main food hasn't come? by the time the main food comes, we are full of these cold dishes.
Yes.
That was an experience.
Yes.
Then there was a question of warm clothing. The road must have warm clothing. So I walk from Bank of Uganda. I go to Drapers. You don't know where Drapers was?
No.
Crane Bank, the headquarters of Crane Bank.
Yes.
That building, Crane Bank.
Yes.
Where it is present, facing the Casino Square. That building was called Drapers. It was a boutique, it was a garments place. Drapers was a big garment dealer. So I walk in there and I'm looking for warm clothing. I didn't ask because I just see I'm looking for something which is warm. So I see these things we wear when you are in the bathroom.
Yeah, on the bathroom.
And I said, how much is this? They told me I didn't have enough money.
Yes.
So I went away. But Jackie, you know that if I had the money,
you would have bought it.
I would have bought it, and I was going to wear it when I'm getting out of the plane.
Oh, I would have loved to see that as a cartoon. Anyway, oh my.
Yeah, that was the peasant boy, and so yeah.
Oh my goodness. So anyhow, you finish.
You finish school.
You come back.
No.
Oh, you go to Tanzania.
When you finish school, Amin is.
First of all, you met President Amin.
Yes.
What was he like to your eyes? In your eyes.
Amin was a very humorous person. He was raw but intelligent. He sounded genuine and very considerate. My meeting him, we decided I was going to come and work with him. When we met him for about 2 hours, that discussion, I thought he was a person with a hidden agenda. I thought
you could sense it.
Yeah. But it's sounding simple and humorous, and even one time he told his people to switch off his cameras, and he even asks us about our social life. That you are in China, you are men. How do you stay men as men there? And we laughed, of course, and he laughed. He laughed. He was asking us about girls, but that was Amin. going down to that level. There was something natural about him, also something genuine about him, but again at the same time thinking that something natural in him was something devious. Yeah, that is what made me and Peter not come back. But he's not even coming back. He wanted us to come back by all means. The intelligence officer of the embassy was Major Agadi. He's a guy from West Nile. He was the number 2 in the embassy. He decided to come to bring us back. Now, me and Makara, Peter said he was remaining there. I didn't know that Peter had also organized to escape. Everybody was organizing quietly with the Chinese embassy, with the Tanzanian embassy. I organized myself. I went at around 11 in the night to organize with the ambassador there, and even Peter did. So we come on Ethiopian Airways. It was the only airline from Africa going to Beijing then. And the ambassador has organized for me that when I reach Addis, I will get another ticket given to me by the Tanzanian government. But we have a sleepover in Addis Ababa at Ethiopia Hotel. And the plane to Tanzania is going at 2. The plane to Uganda is going at 3. East African Airways. So I've been told how it was going to happen. That somebody is going to come at the reception to look for me. I should stay in the room. So I stayed in my room, and that gentleman comes at around 11, and he calls, said, "You are Wafula?" I said, "Yes." You have been told what you are supposed to do. I said, "Yes." Now come out of your room, come to the parking lot and the car. So I come down, I go to the car. He had told me TZ number, and he gives me a ticket. And he said, "Go and pick your things and go to the airport." So I go, and I'm panicking because Agadi is in the hotel. And in the hotel, we have also found Uganda Army officers. One of them was my somebody I knew from Samia, Air Force officers. They had been training in Addis. They are also coming home. We are in that hotel. So I'm escaping from Agadi, and I'm scared. So I go up, pick my luggage, and come down. That guy organized for me a taxi. Sit in a taxi and go to the airport. Go to the airport, check in. I go and wait for the Dar es Salaam flight. When I'm sitting there, the Ugandan people also begin coming in. We are in the same place like this.
Yes.
And then they announced Tanzania flight.
And
I'm the number 1 to stand up. I had to go out, and Agad said, "No, Wafula, that's the wrong flight." I said, "No, I know." And I'm saying when I know, and I've already handed in my
boarding pass. Yes.
He just looked at me in awe, and I went to Dar es Salaam. That was the end. So Idi Amin would have wanted us to come and work with him, but we didn't agree with that. So we went to Tanzania, and it was that's where I knew the Musevenis. That's where I knew the Mamdanis, the Ruzindanas. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
So then when do you come back to Uganda?
We come back to Uganda in 79. We are involved in some way, invariably, with the liberation struggle against Idi Amin. But when I'm in Dar es Salaam, after a week I got a job with the Tanzania Publishing House. My first job after university was a book editor, editing books for school books and novels. And my contribution more in the struggle was a lot more to do with the communication. I think Mamdai writes a lot about that in his book, Slow Poison. So in Dar es Salaam were groups. There was a Obote group. There was a Ruzindana Mamdani and the Wafula group. There was a Nabudere Umonyo Joko Yashtano and the Rugumayo group. There was a Museveni group. So we had about 4 groups there in Dar es Salaam. But we were all involved in trying to remove Idi Amin. Our group, the Namudani group, was called Changombe group. The 2 of us, Changombe group and Nabudere group, we are the people who were involved in organizing the Moshi Conference. I was the initial treasurer of organizing Moshi Conference. I was a young man, but, and then we got divided there. We Obote UPC did not want us to be the one organizing. He wanted it to be the one organizing, but Nyerere didn't want Obote to be in the forefront. He kept him in the background. He didn't even go to Moshi. Nyerere did not allow him. Yes, so we organized the Moshi Conference.
And for those who don't know, for context, what is the Moshi Conference?
The Moshi Conference is a conference which we organize for all Ugandans who are fighting Idi Amin or who are struggling against Idi Amin. We organize in Tanzania with the help of Tanzania government and British government. It's at the conference where we chose Professor Dule to be the president to take over from Amin.
From Amin, yes.
At that time, the Tanzanians, they had finished Katonga, they were about Kampala. And I remember after the conference, after I had chosen Dule had a fight, meaning there was a competition between Dule and Paulo Mwanga and Lutwa. But we agreed on Dule and Museveni. So the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I think it was a Minister of Foreign Internal for Information, Mukapa, who told us that you people, we have agreed, you have formed this organization. We want you to give us political cover. We didn't want to take Kampala to conquer Uganda. So you now handle the diplomatic front, the political front, as we are going to handle the military. And we shall meet in Kampala at Easter. And that would happen.
So I'm now situating myself as a young girl then, and wondering where they chant
Yes.
Yes. Where did I?
Now that okay. So we come here. Dule forms government. He's not allowed to form alone. He's formed by this group, the council, and they stay in Dar es Salaam at the police club called Oysterbay. They form a government there. They had an office there. Then the government falls here. Then they are flown in as a government, and Dule becomes the president. But he's held by a council of about 20-something people. Then Dule, when he is in charge, I think he begins to want to be a president, not outside this, not to be so much controlled by this group. So he reshuffles government, dropping some of the people, and they say no. So they call a council in State House in Tebe, and they decide that Dule should leave power, and he stayed there.
Oh my goodness.
First, I think they asked him to apologize and then reverse his decision. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. They are just about 30 of them. They decided to be president then. And I remember we had that even Museveni sent to Sheraton to pick Vinaisa. Vinaisa was just there drinking. And Museveni comes for him and said,
you're the one now.
Let's go to Entebbe. He said, why? He said, you're the president. Now, that news could not come to the public like that.
Yes.
The Uganda people were very excited about Dule. And as a person who had liberated them from Idi Amin. So the chanting of Twagala Dule over Fatwe.
Yes.
And Museveni was the Minister of Defense. Those people were killed, by the way. They were killed. People who were chanting, they were killed. Some of them, I think several people were killed. But they came, Uganda people came from all places of Uganda. They came pouring into Kampala and going to the Constitutional Square there and chanting everywhere. Then the Museveni and the government then, they decided to be violent and just scuttle them.
Wow.
Yeah. But Dule was in power for 68 days, to be precise.
68?
Yes.
Okay. And then Binaisa comes, and even his was quite short.
Binaisa was longer a bit. He also makes mistakes. I think Binaisa now is removed by the UPC wing mostly, but the Dule was removed by Navudere, the socialists, the more radical people, the Navudere, the Musevenis, the Rugumayo. Those are the people who removed the today, I think he came out as being very conservative, and he made a fatal statement. And when he was swearing in, he said, "Tetweyagalizanga embazi muyaga asude," something like that. That what Uganda had been looking for, God had given them. It was interpreted as if he meant that now Uganda has got power. It wasn't now Ugandans have got power, but now Uganda has got power.
Yes.
That's how it was interpreted, and from there they began fighting him. Yeah.
And so anyway, meanwhile, you go from editing books to now...
Now I go for editing books, and we come back here, and okay, they wanted me to go back to Foreign Affairs. I did not want to go to Foreign Affairs. Then they founded the weekly topic. Then they are looking for people, and I think somebody mentioned my name to Vidandi Sali or Kintu Msoke by the owners of the weekly topic. That they see somebody in the hotel there who is media person, who is trained in communication. And they say, okay, you take him this and see if we can help us on this. So that man is called Yoga Dola. Yoga Dola was a staunch UPC guy. Obote fanatic.
Yes.
So Yoga brings the...
Used to write a column or something?
Yes. Yoga is a librarian now he retired in America, in New York. So he brought some Reuters printouts. I'm sure you don't know about telex. But we used to get information from the telex. It spits out.
I think mine is the fax generation.
Yeah. Fax. Yeah. It spits out a message, and so they had asked Yoga to give me to work to edit some of those for the Ugandan audience, which I did and gave him. He went. So when he went back, then they said, no, want this person. So then I go. Yoga takes me to Kintu Msoke and said, "We want you to give you a job." I said, "Oh, okay, I'm okay." That's it. Then I now joined the mainstream media, but also in Dar es Salaam I tried for the Tanzania newspaper, some as a freelancer. Wow. Then I become a journalist there.
Then you become a journalist.
Yeah.
And from Weekly Topic then to Monitor.
Then from Weekly Topic, and I was editing the Weekly Topic. First, it was banned by Obote. I think Rules Akirunda, he banned the paper, I think, in April. Soon after, they were sworn in as UPC government.
So what was the government paper then?
Uganda Times.
Uganda Times.
Yeah, Uganda Times.
Okay.
They banned the Weekly Topic, but we had known they were going to ban it, so we produced a newspaper that we are going, but we shall return when sanity returns. And that was the headline on the paper. They were mad how they knew that they are banning us, because there was a lady working in the Ministry of Justice and I think Internal Affairs who knew that Kirunda had signed it. The banning. Yeah, so they banned the paper. Then I went to teach at Makerere with Mamdani. So for 4 years I was teaching at political science, political economy at Makerere. Then Obote is Topoli. Incidentally, I knew about Obote being Topoli. A year earlier, I knew he was Topoli in July. I knew that. And we go for swearing in. We go to see how try swearing in at the parliament. And there I meet Vidandi and Kintu. They're standing. Then they say, Wafula, you must go back and restart the paper. So I said, yeah, is it?
Oh, so it was actually resuscitated.
Yeah.
I didn't. Okay.
So then I go and begin assembling a team. I also talked to Charles if he could come. He said yes. He was also teaching literature. From Makerere, he said yes. And we restarted the newspaper, the Weekly Topic.
Same building,
same place, Apoba, Katwe. Yeah. Wow. Now, there, we had been friends of Museveni, of course. We had been quite involved with them. I had been in the bush, in Busunju there, as a journalist. Then Museveni begins coming with his adjustment programs, these economic reforms of his. The SAPs, and we are mad. So we write very strong opinions against him. And then we began writing about corruption. Some cabinet ministers are angry. When we were doing the dam in Jinja, one minister, and I'm not going to mention his name, he got a bribe from whatever, and we wrote about it and wrote an editorial, tough one. That minister was mad, very mad that Wafula is anti-government and blah, blah. And so Kintu comes one day afternoon and they said, I want to meet the staff. Wafula, I want your staff. So we go to the basement to have that was a good basement, not the one like
yes,
current basement. And he says, he said very nasty things. And he said, from today you're not allowed to write. You're not allowed to move near the editorial. You are going to work, you have been promoted, you are going to be a director for publications. And after you are going to develop new titles. So no writing. I said, oh, why? I said, we don't need to give you an explanation, but that is it. So I sat there and I went to my office. I didn't know what to do, but now the journalists are not allowed to come to me. Mm-hmm. I'm just there doing nothing. But luckily, I had just been given an assignment earlier to do how we're going to reform, how we could reform the weekly topic. And I had done that research to make it a better organized paper and more down to earth. It was very elite then. So after 2 days, I told my friends that I called Charles. I told him, I think I'm going to leave. Then I told Che, I think I'm going to leave. I think we should start a newspaper. I had some idea about it, discussing a newspaper some time back, not very seriously. So I tell him, are you coming with me? They said, Charles said yes. And the Che said yes. Now the three of us, we are prepared to start a newspaper, the Monitor. And the young people also hear that I'm leaving. So they come to me one by one. They say, Chief, if you leave, we leave. I said, who told you I'm leaving? I said, we have heard you are leaving. And they say, the assistant editors. I said, okay, we are leaving. I'm leaving. And we are about 4 of them. That was Aliro, Kevin Aliro, and Richard Tebere, and David Ouma. And they said, go. They said, we're also coming. I said, okay. But we are leaving. We don't have a shilling. We don't have an office. We don't have anything. We simply have spirit, and we have brain, and hands of brains. That's all. And
I want to stop it there so that we can start part 2 at the birth of the Monitor.
Okay.